Yeah, that's also true.
I love
the Wii is just the GameCube.
Mario Galaxy.
I'm actually, I'm gonna agree with what I know exactly what Tyler's about to say. That Mario Galaxy is like my favorite game.
It is the best game ever.
I also personally,
it is.
No, I agree. I agree. And on top of that, I will go as far as to say I think the Wii's library is actually better than the GameCube.
Oh, for sure.
The Wii,
the Wii had an insane library.
The Wii was nuts.
The Wii,
like the biggest issue with the Wii's library was just that they had so much shovelware, but like, it's just because everybody had a Wii.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's
like
my
grandma
thing.
had one.
That's my thing, though, is that I would argue, like, but the Xbox and the PS2, though, the PS2 just blew everything out of the water. Like, I don't even think that's, like, comparable. Like, the PS2 literally had, within its first year, Gran Turismo, Final Fantasy X, Grand Theft Auto 3,
Devil May Cry.
Final Fantasy X is just nuts.
Yeah, Devil May Cry.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2. Literally, its first year alone was incredibly stacked, and it just kept going.
Yeah, all the Xbox had was, what, Halo?
It has Halo.
Xbox had Halo. It had Forza, although that was pretty late.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Republic.
Xbox actually has a lot of really crazy underrated games. Like,
I don't know, because they were trying to get like a big mascot during the like original Xbox days.
Oh,
like
Blinks the cat.
Blinks, I've actually heard the game is. Some people say it's good. Some people say it sucks.
It like it's a really cool puzzle platformer, but it's like really strict with what it wants you to do. Especially the first one.
Yeah, I tried Blinks the cat once. I didn't hate it, but I couldn't really get into it.
Yeah, like because there was Blinks. Then there was like I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. There was like Dr. Muda, which I think came out on like some other consoles. Then there was Voodoo Vince.
Yeah. There was a lot of Xbox stuff. Plus, there was a lot of games on the Xbox that where you would actually get a completely different experience than playing it on PS2 or GameCube.
Yeah.
Like, the biggest example that I could think of is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Because that game on Xbox was basically like a proto 360 game. Like, just in terms of how it looked and played. Whereas, like, the PS2 versions and the GameCube versions were, like, really gimped. Like, you could tell they weren't really made for that kind of hardware.
Yeah, it's... Like, that's the thing, is, like, at the time, it's just the hardware was so much more above, like, the rest of the consoles, but it's like...
Yeah, I mean, we're playing Spider-Man 2 on the Xbox because it looks way better than it does on the PS2.
So, because I think, and we're obviously talking to just people watching, is most people have really only played the PS2 version of the game, so it looks super drab in comparison to the original Xbox version.
Which is what we're playing now.
Yeah.
If you're thinking, wow, this looks more colorful than I remember it, that's actually because the Xbox version is the only version that has color. Because I think it's the only version that has, like, an actual lighting engine. Because I think the other versions just kind of bake in the lighting. But, like, this one actually has, like, that, like I think more, like, pronounced, like, shadows and everything. Oh my god, we're already at this part and I've only been playing for an hour.
I completely forgot the mouse was there on the left corner over there.
Yeah, I'm going to move that one to cutscene, please.
Yeah.
It's not going to be in the recording, but it's there. Yeah.
As long as it's on the recording, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm just doing it because it's distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, the thing is, though, is that I honestly still find it hard to believe, though, that the GameCube still was, like, outsold by the Xbox. Because I didn't know a single person growing up who had an Xbox, but I knew so many people who had GameCube.
I had an
did too,
Xbox, and I had a PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
I was a GameCube PS2.
It's also because, like, a lot of people didn't want to develop for GameCube anyway, because the fact that, like, GameCube had, like, the smaller discs.
Yeah, it was that, and it was also because it was missing buttons.
Yeah.
It didn't have an extra bumper, and it didn't have anything to make up for that. So, and you couldn't click the sticks either.
Besides the Nintendo exclusives that were on GameCube, I played, like, so many shitty, like, Nickelodeon games and all that stuff. Like, fucking Nicktoons Unite and everything.
Mm-hmm. Like, okay, so I'm just gonna go on my big rant about, since you brought that up, Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go about possibly the worst video game I've ever played, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius.
Oh my god!
Jiminy, okay.
That game is so fucking bad.
Alright, so I'll tell you all about Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius.
Christ.
It might genuinely be the worst video game I've ever played, and I beat it in a day, and it was so frustrating. Just because of one thing, which is that you can't move the camera.
Yeah.
It's a platformer where you have a
no
fixed
camera
camera
movement. And this is a few years after Mario 64.
Yeah.
Which revolutionized it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. And by the end of it, because also, I had to replay like the first, I think, 3 levels. Because there's no autosave to the game. So if you die, you have to replay the whole game. Because you have to manually save it.
It's fucking stupid.
Absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage.
Easily.
I had the.
That was the worst GameCube game I ever played in general.
I played Jet Fusion, and Jet Fusion was okay. I just remember as a kid, it was actually really, really hard later on. But I did have. I think it came with tissues. I'm not kidding. It came with a box of tissues. I think I had a CD-ROM of like 4 or 5 Nickelodeon game demos. And I remember there was a Jimmy Neutron one. It was the one where it was versus his evil twin. It was like, I forgot what the name.
Jimmy Negatron or something?
Yeah, it was like Jimmy Negatron. Yeah, it was like Jimmy Negatron. And I distinctly remember that it was terrible. It was like really, really, really bad. And I'm pretty sure it's like anyone who knows about that game knows it's like literally like one of the worst games ever made.
There were like 5 Jimmy Neutron games in a span of like 2 years.
Yeah, because Jimmy Neutron was huge because of the movie. Yeah. Like, the movie was big enough where it warranted getting its own show.
Oh my god,
the show is way better than the movie. I love this show.
The movie's good.
Yeah.
That's Jimmy Negatron right there.
Yeah.
Jimmy Negatron had like a facial beard and everything. He had like a Tony Stark look. Did you ever play Attack of the Twonkies?
That was the one game I always wanted to play as a kid. I never had it.
It's not that great.
How does Beck have 0?
It's probably
because it sucks.
If you played, actually no. I was gonna say if you played Jet Fusion, it's like, no, actually it's different than Jet Fusion.
No, it is different because I remember I had a friend who had it.
Yeah.
And I remember it played very differently.
Graphically, it does look better, and it's not really a platformer. It's more like just a. It's kind of like a shoot 'em up. It kind of had tank controls from what I remembered, like if it was Ratchet and Clank. It had lock on targeting.
Yeah. I think. Hold on. Let me look.
I think it was some Ratchet and Clank.
I want to talk to my ass.
Yeah, that's kind of the sad thing about Jimmy Neutron. Even though he had so many games, because if you even count like Nicktoons Unite, he was in like 2 of those games, if I remember correctly.
He was in that one. He was in Attack of the Toy Bots.
Yeah, he was in 2 of them. But the sad part is that I only think like maybe 1 or 2 of the Jimmy Neutron games are actually any good.
I like how you're playing basketball with humans.
Yeah. Which, by the way, this part is supposed to be way harder than I'm making it look. It's only because I played this recently. Because like this is, if you don't actually know what you're doing, this part's actually kind of hard. Okay, that guy's just floating.
Yeah.
Here, I'll just.
You just have to put him in the green areas.
You have to like really like. This is a game that just more or less rewards mastering the movement. If you know what you're doing.
You're only on like what, chapter 7?
Yeah, I'm basically at the halfway point already.
Right.
I'm maybe not the halfway point, but I'm getting close to it.
When you get to Shocker, you're pretty much done with it.
Yeah, Shocker's like once you beat Shocker, you have maybe like I think 4 or 5 more missions, and then you're done.
Okay, so I was looking this up, and I think it's the same studio. I think the studio that made Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius was the same studio that made Revenge of the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, I know it's not THQ.
Yeah, Vicarious Visions was like made the GBA version, but it's Big Sky's Interactive.
Yeah.
I have Crash Twinsanity. I have to play it because
that game's good. I like
Crash Twin. Yeah, exactly. People say Crash Twinsanity is a crazy good game because I know Vicarious Visions made that too.
The soundtrack is literally just people.
Yeah, it's all acapella.
Yeah, it's all acapella.
I love that.
Speaking. All right. Have any of you guys ever had a game that you played that wasn't that you didn't finish when you were like a kid or something like
There's
that?
a ton.
Oh, a bunch. Yeah.
But like that you probably could have finished easily if you were like not a stupid kid.
Okay.
No. Whatever game I got, I always finished it.
I'll give one. So when I first got the first Ratchet and Clank game I ever played, Ratchet and Clank 3, I couldn't get past the first boss.
Really?
I couldn't get past the first boss, which was in the first level of the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in Florana.
How old were you when you played it?
I was like, I think like 4 maybe 5.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah, I could not beat it.
I remember there's a part in the SpongeBob movie game where right before you get to the Krusty Krab in the first mission, there's a bunch of rocks you're supposed to like hit so they break away so you can get through it.
You didn't.
And it looks like part of the level. And as a kid, I never knew how to get past it. And I think I did beat the game. Well, actually, I never beat that game as a kid. I always use a level select cheat because the last world before the final boss is insanely hard. It is actually really, really hard for kids.
Are you talking about like driving to the Krusty Krab?
No, the Planktopolis level. That level is actually insanely hard
yeah.
for a kid.
No,
And I remember that wall, I think as a kid, I was stuck on it for maybe a solid like 3 or 4 months, and I didn't know how to get past it.
Yeah.
Because I think I got it like around the time the movie came out in 2004.
Speaking of Nickelodeon games we didn't beat as a kid, you know the Wii game, Nickelodeon that attacked toy bots?
Yeah.
Yes.
I never beat that game as a kid because I got in a side level and I didn't know what I was supposed to do, so I just got bored and stopped playing.
What was the side level?
I don't even remember, something with Patrick.
Something with Patrick.
Yeah, I feel like Patrick or something.
I had that game for the PS2. That game I actually beat
I had it for the Wii.
3 times because it was so fucking short.
Yeah, the game is short.
You know what's a short game? Battle for Volcano Island. That game literally takes you 4 hours. And I beat that game so many times just because I didn't have anything else better to play for a while.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat as that. I remember I played that a lot as a kid. And I actually liked that game. I thought it was better than Unite, because Unite is kind of a really rough game.
Unite is also laggy as shit.
Yeah, Unite, I had it on the PS2. I know that like the PS2 version ran really badly.
Yeah, I had the GameCube version. It ran pretty bad, but when I got Battle for Volcano Island on GameCube, it ran pretty good actually.
Well, I don't know. I haven't played Unite since I was a kid. That's a game I would only replay just to see how bad it is, because I know as an adult it doesn't look very good at all.
Yeah. The one game that I could not play on the GameCube just because of the rating, it was rated teen, and my parents wouldn't buy it for me because it was so expensive. Do you want to know what that game was?
Which one?
Melee.
Oh.
I never officially played Melee until like fucking 4 years ago. And I got it on eBay for like $50.
Yeah, now it is ungodly expensive.
Yeah.
It is a really expensive game. I think the only pricey GameCube games I own are like the Sonic Gems collection and Sonic Adventure 2.
I feel like the only way I'd ever play Melee would be at Platinum Star, because I don't think I'd ever buy it myself.
I just emulate it. Like, there's really no point not to.
Yeah. The Dolphin's basically just made for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, and like Dolphin is insanely easy to run on pretty much any modern computer.
I remember, Nick, you showed me our PS3 or whatever.
Yeah, the PS3
Because
emulator.
the Simpsons game is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, I have the PS3 version. The PS3 version of that game is, I think, worth like $60 or $70.
That is the best version of the game.
And I just bought it at GameStop one day, like years and years ago, because I just wanted to play it on the PS3.
Yeah.
Because it's open world on PS3 and it wasn't on the Wii. And like I remember, like I just had it, and apparently I looked it up, and now it's like considered pretty rare.
When I was younger,
Like nobody really has it.
When I was younger, I played the PS2 version, and then I played the PS3 version on the our PS3 emulator, and it is way different.
Yeah, it is very different.
Because in the
What the hell
PS2,
is that?
I think these component these are like crap third party aftermarket cables. So I think that they're just like maybe they're getting hot or something, and they're just like not. They're just kind of having like.
I'm getting pretty hot too, not gonna
the
lie.
PS2 version of the Simpsons game, it was not open world. You could only walk around the Simpsons house, and then once you go outside, it starts the next level.
Yeah,
In the PS3 version, you actually have to walk to the location itself in the open world. But yeah, no, it's like playing a different game.
I wonder what the difference between the PS4 and PS5 versions of Elden Ring will be, if it's not just graphical.
It's probably going to be graphical. Because if I'm being honest, unless you were doing something like Battlefield, which is like super CPU intensive. Stop shooting at me.
I will say I think the only like pricey.
What?
He got you!
You didn't do it?
He got me.
What do you mean? He shot you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's checkpoints
Is
here.
this? I wasn't paying attention to the game. Is this Mysterio's part? No, I'm stupid.
This is Mysterio.
Is this Mysterio? Okay.
This is before Spider-Man humiliates him.
Did you skip the cutscenes?
There was no cutscene. I think this is one of the only missions that actually does have checkpoints, because they know that if they made you redo the whole thing,
People wouldn't play the game.
Yeah, people will quit here.
Oh, fuck.
Because this game gets very frustrating, especially towards the end.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. The.
What the heck?
Oh, the TV!
Oh no! Stop! How am I supposed to even... Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna let myself die. Let me put the cables back in. Because I pushed them in, and then it stopped doing it. Because I noticed these are so flimsy on this thing. Like, this is like barely clinging on.
Oh, yeah.
The blue line.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. So the most expensive GameCube game I own is Skies of Arcadia, like the GameCube port.
Yeah.
Cause okay, so a loose copy will get you is $125.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That is a lot.
I have a complete copy and that's almost 200.
Yeah.
And I got this back in the day, I think for $30.
Did you ever get the Fire?
So I think you just press that button.
Yeah,
Which one?
that's what
The
I did.
Fire Emblem game for the GameCube. That
Oh
two-game going back. Going back to
2-game print
Alright. Yeah.
We
so-
our friend 2-Game Prink
Yeah.
spent $300 on a Fire Emblem game
for the GameCube.
and then played one chapter of it and then went to a game store that we have locally and sold it back to them for $50.
Yeah, and he got it for 300 on I think it was
eBay.
not eBay. It was Lukey Games, which he says is the best website to get cheap games, but you can honestly find cheaper stuff on eBay if
Yeah,
you really look.
yeah. Here's the thing.
Have any of you ever done that though? Like, have you ever bought a game from GameStop, and then like went to GameStop and like sold it back to them for like $3?
Yeah,
I did that with Destiny.
I
I bought it for $2 and got it returned for $1.
I wish I did that with Destiny. I didn't spend any money on Destiny.
Yeah, I got it. I have my PS4.
I did that with Mario Tennis Aces because that game just sucks so fucking bad.
I remember I spent $2 on Destiny. I still felt like it was a ripoff because I beat the base game in 2 hours.
Yeah, no, the base game of Destiny is a fucking joke.
That game deserved all the scrutiny it got when it came out because I distinctly remember
Yeah.
how short it was, and like they charged like $80. Like if you bought like the collector's edition, it was like $100. Like,
Yeah,
if I bought that, I would feel ripped off.
And because here's the thing about original Destiny, because you played the patch version of it.
Yes.
The original version of Destiny,
When it first came out.
yeah, when it first came out, had level progression blocked off by armor. So you had to get specific armor to
Yeah.
like keep leveling up.
Yeah, it was so bad. And if you really wanted to do like did it have raids when it first launched?
I don't think it had raids
Which
when it
game?
first launched. Destiny.
Destiny.
Destiny did not have
Destiny
raids.
only had PvP when it first launched.
Yeah, but it's
Did
like
not
there's
have raids.
There's not a lot of stuff to do in the game to begin with.
All
When
these
it first
games that
came
are
out.
being made by companies that are like multiplayer games.
It was
they
literally-
expect PvP to be the end game, but a lot of the game is PvE.
It's like what they did with Tom Clancy's The Division.
Yeah.
When you go rogue, by the way, don't go rogue. You literally, like, if you die once, you lose, like, levels of progression. Like, I remember when the game first came out, like, if you died once when you were rogue, you basically lost, like, progression of killing 400 NPCs. You lost, like, 135,000 XP when you got past level 30.
Hmm.
It was absolutely insane.